Hello, it's Sunil Tulsiani, founder of Private Investment Club. I'm here with another expert for these expert interviews during these testing times of coronavirus and all the things that are happening. And a lot of people are wondering what to do in these days. I mean, personally, financially, if you're a real estate investor, if you have some sort of a business, what do you do during these times? And I've had many people in the past that talked about it. And today, I'm really, really happy to have my good friend from Ottawa, Mr. Dan Doré. Did I pronounce your last name correctly, Doré?
Yes, you did.
All right, sounds good.
Doré, yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite.
You're very welcome. Now, those of you who do not know Dan, Dan is a real estate investor, and he's going to tell you in a little while about himself. And he owns one of the amazing property management companies. So if you're in Ottawa, you really need to know Dan. I mean, if you got a real estate rental property that you want him to look after, him and his team you need to get connected with. Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. Thank you for that nice intro. That's very nice of you. So again, as Sunil was saying, my name is Dan Doré. I'm born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. A bit of the background, I come from a family that's owned rental properties. I've personally owned rental properties, residential rental properties since 1999. And I originally started DORE Property Management primarily because we found out that, a lot of people wanted to invest in rental properties, but they didn't want to handle the day-to-day stuff. So we thought that we would start a company and offer services of that nature to people. And as of today, we're very fortunate to have had the privilege to manage thousands of units over the years in Ottawa. And very recently, I've signed off partnerships with like-minded investors as well, so we can grow the portfolio. And those partners in those relationships can actually take advantage of the experience that my team and I have actually gained over the years managing rental properties. And it's interesting because the reason you and I are talking today, 2018, I think I met you you were speaking at an event here in Ottawa, and then you ran another event at the tail end of 2019 through the Private Investment Club that you founded. And you had brought in a couple of guest speakers, and namely Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and Jack Canfield, the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. So yes. It was very, very, very fun weekend. And I was amazed to see the quality of people that this event attracted. And I think you'll recall, Sunil, as well, I made a comment, when you spoke at that event, that you alluded to the fact that, the whole purpose of doing business and real estate and getting better and so on was to, have more quality time with family and friends. And that really resonated with me. Yes. So I'm proud to say that I'm a member of your Private Investment Club, one of your mentees, and I'm looking forward to working with you for many years to come. So thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to talk with you today.
You're very welcome. I'm very happy to have you. You are not only an entrepreneur that is doing some amazing things. Your company's growing. I know that I'm working with you in order to grow your company, and you serve a lot of investors who have properties to manage their properties, which to me is one of the most important parts about businesses, and especially if you're in real estate. So let's jump right into this stuff that everybody's talking about, coronavirus. Go ahead, your take on it.
Yeah, so the coronavirus, obviously it's, my gosh, you look at the news, it's such a fluid course of events. It's crazy. Needless to say, it needs to be taken seriously. That's the reason why I'm running this from home, my home office. But I'm confident that as a society, I think, we'll succeed in helping flatten the curve as the experts are aiming for, so we can minimize the impact of what could potentially be, pretty serious. But I suspect, it'll take a bit of time for things to get back to normal. But for some of us, this is a time for us to reflect and perhaps look at getting better, changing our businesses, how we do things and so on. So some will definitely suffer, but some, may actually, this may be a calling to make certain things happen. It'll be interesting to see what happens once this passes. So, yeah.
Awesome. What are you doing in the times of, you mentioned about things are different and coronavirus. What things are you doing differently in business?
Yeah, so my team and I, we're obviously we're a property management company, but we feel that we're very much so in the relationship of managing of the business of relationships, and relationships with landlords, tenants, vendors to help service properties. So, if you're dealing with us now as an investor, our team is actively communicating with your tenants to try to see if there's any issues there, or any vital situations that we that we need to be to help deal with. And in these exceptional times, obviously nobody's, most of us have never gone through anything of this nature. So communicating with landlords, tenants, vendors, to assist with essential services, or to address any challenges that they may encounter or may not encounter. And sometimes it's just a matter of communicating it. So our objective is to try to find solutions to each and every potential situation, if a tenant is struggling. And the objective obviously is to, hopefully have the tenants remain in the units and make arrangements for rent to be paid so we can, get back to normal. So, we choose to remain positive in the environment, we take time to reevaluate how we're operating the company, how we communicate, how we can improve ourselves, just by doing this. I don't think, if you go back a month ago, we would be having any meetings like this as a team, yet, all day today, that's how we're keeping in communication with our people. So, we're looking at out of the box thinking that we weren't necessarily pressured to do so in the past. And we want to expand our, our world-class customer service. So, we genuinely care, the team cares. We like to take care of the community. And, the entire team is actually working remotely right now and working on showing properties virtually, so that, business just continues, nothing stops, right? So we keep renting, we keep servicing, and all the while being, of requiring to try to minimize the spread. So.
I see. What are you, like from a business point of view, how has it impacted your business? What are you doing these days to rectify, if any, changes?
Yeah, so from the business perspective, I think the biggest, we were already working remotely. So a lot of that is just an extension. I don't think we're used to having to meet people, to show property, to meet landlords, to meet vendors and so on. And now that's not happening. It's all done virtually. So, on a business perspective, we try to make sure that daily we reach out to the team, keep in close contact, keep the momentum going, deal with issues that arise that, technically would usually happen. And I tend to preach to the team as well that, let's focus on the things that we can control, and the things you can't control, then you can't control, right? It is what it is. And we'll make do. But, focus on, what can you do right now to be productive and serve people. Yeah.
Dan, there's a chirping noise. I'm not too sure where's that coming from, but there was a little bit of chirping noise, but
okay.
It's gone now. So just maybe it's when you move or something.
Okay. I'm French, so I tend to move a lot.
Yeah, maybe that. But it almost seems like you got coins that you're rubbing each other. I know you don't. I know you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give to people who are landlords or investors who have rental properties?
Yeah, so obviously, if you're benefiting from dealing with us, we'd already be in communication with your clients. But if as a landlord today, in general, in this current situation, you got to communicate, right? You got to reach out to your tenants, make sure everything's okay, and if it's not, try to be empathetic to what's happening. Find some common ground, be reasonably flexible to address any payments or any hardships that they may be dealing with. And if you as a landlord are feeling the pinch as well, then most, I think, of us have heard that the lenders have options to apply to have mortgage payments deferred. and there might be different options there in order for you to take advantage of to minimize the impact, the financial impact. So that would be the advice that we're giving landlords right now. So.
And what advice would you give to tenants, let's say?
Yeah, as always, I mean, be open with your landlord. Obviously, as a landlord myself, if the tenant, doesn't pay or have any issues and there's no communication, that's when it's the scariest, because then we don't know where, what's happening. So, don't ignore the problem, reach out, let them know, at least, there's government programs out there depending on your personal situation that could likely help alleviate some of the financial stress in the short term. So, you want to take advantage of that. And for us, properties, we're actively reaching out to our tenants. And, if they're in self-isolation and they need their groceries picked up or some errands run or whatever, I have instructed my team, whatever is the right thing to do, just do it, right? This is not business as usual. And if you feel that that's what needs to happen, obviously within, being safe. But, if you hear of somebody that's struggling and it's a matter of go, pick up $50 of grocery, then go pick it up, send me the bill, and let's make it happen, right? Let's be happy. Let's all help each other out. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So if somebody's a real estate investor, and we're going through this, what advice would you give to them now? Should they buy property? Should they hold off? Should they sell the property they have?
I'm always very cautious on how I answer that question. I'll start off answering this by saying, I'm an investor in real estate, so I'm in Ottawa and I'm biased to this business, right? So I'm fully invested. This is the business we're in. So I'm a true believer. But I understand that this business is not for everyone, right? So I'm very careful when I answer this question. So, I would say that if you own real estate or you're thinking of owning real estate, and these types of environments are making you lose some sleep, then you have to be careful, right? I have a saying with some of my very dear clients where I say, real estate is great if you can weather the storm, right? And stuff like this happens. It's all stressful for everybody. But if you still want to be invested, then perhaps you need to partner up with somebody that knows the industry, or have it managed by somebody that understands the inner workings of owning real estate. But me personally, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm not selling anything, and if anything, I'm in expansion mode. So that's me personally.
Okay, awesome. I still hear once in a while the chirping. I'm not too sure where that's coming from, but
I don't know what that is. Hang on.
Okay.
My phone's off, but
okay, no problem. I'll continue. I'll continue with you. And it's usually when you're moving around, maybe.
okay.
So anyways, so you're in fact, you're buying the buying mode. So if I'm a real estate investor and somebody comes to you and says, should I invest in real estate? And if no, then why not? If yes, then what kind of investment would be great in the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah, it's my whole business and investments are all in residential rental properties. I've had success with that since '99. I don't venture out. I'm a firm believer long term that this is the way to go. So I would, and I'm always very careful, because depending on what people are actually looking for or advice, or the certain positions they're in, reach out to us, have a one-on-one talk about what you're trying to do. I've been known to have people sit down, wanted to hire us, and then, realize it just wasn't for them. Right. So I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell you what I think. I'd love more clients. I'd love more people involved, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that whoever's getting involved is happy, and
yes,
they're doing something that they feel is in their best interest. So.
Awesome. And so later on, Dan's going to talk about how to get hold of him. And if you're in Ottawa and you're in real estate and you want to either do joint ventures in real estate, or you have properties already where you want a professional management company to look after your investment, you need to get hold of Dan for sure, because Dan, he's been doing it for many, many years, and he's amazing at what he does, and he's got a good team going. So in regards to real estate, when you invest in real estate, what do you invest in the real estate for? How do you invest in real estate safely?
Uh, for me personally, in times like this, even more so, I don't over leverage on anything. And I think the biggest thing for me, cash flow is one of the biggest reasons. If I can see if there is cash flow, or I can see a potential of cash flow, then it's something that I'll explore. I'll typically not necessarily get involved just because I can see capital appreciation, because capital appreciation is great if it happens. But if you can't and you own the asset, then it's a bit tougher. So me personally, I'm a cash flow guy. I look at long term, and I use the analogy, where they talk about, raising cows to for meat or for milk, right? Well, I'm a milking cow
Go with the
type
milks.
environment, right? So yeah, so that to me is the biggest thing, and that's been my strategy through all along.
By the way, whatever you're doing right now, it works.
Okay, yeah, I'm holding the
Yeah. So whatever.
the microphone closer to my
It
my
seems
mouth.
like it's working. There's no chippering noise. Like it's like little birds and.
Yeah, there's no birds as far as I know, but yeah, hopefully not. I call my property manager to send somebody over with exterminator. Yeah.
In the next 6 months, 12 months, what changes do you see in real estate, if any?
Uh, in this area, I mean, in Ottawa, we're quite fortunate because we're a government town, so we'll definitely get affected. It's tough to say if there will be any negative repercussions to real estate at this point here in time. I don't see it plummeting, drastically. It might have a slowdown, but the reality here, the demand is much higher than the offering, so I don't see it slowing down.
Right.
That being said, will mortgages be a bit tougher? Will there be challenges? I think that remains to be seen. Hopefully they'll be limited. But in the type of properties that we're in, I think in the long term, I think I don't see any, it might be a bit of a blimp, but a blimp in the road, but I don't see any negative impact long term. Right?
How does one take advantage, if they are able to or not, you tell me, of investing in real estate because of what's happening today? You got things shut down, you got businesses shut down, you got people losing jobs, you have the government bailouts, you have basically life stopped. No movie theaters, no restaurant, nothing's going on. From a movement point of view, very few businesses are open, and therefore the cash flow has stopped, and obviously it has some impact on the environment. What's your advice?
Be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful. There's all sorts of different strategies out there. I say be careful. Don't over leverage. If you've not done it before, start small. And if you're really nervous but you still want to get involved, then partner up with somebody who knows, right? Who knows what they're doing. What's that?
A joint private investment club, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Why not? No, so that way at least you get to you get to be part of people who know what they're doing.
Yes.
So it's tough because it's from one perspective to the other, it's tough, right? But if it depends on the environment, but generally speaking, in environments like this, like anything, right? You want to be cautious. You don't know, nobody's gone down this path. And I think being cautious in this environment is good advice for everybody. So
awesome. Well, now that you brought that up, I'm going to talk about this book. It's called A Secret to Real Estate Wealth, and in this one, I talk about, should you buy in Canada, should you buy in the United States, but more importantly, what things that you have to look for if you're planning to do your due diligence. And you want to look at the certain markets. How do you evaluate this? So if you haven't had chance to look at this, it's called Secret to Real Estate Wealth, and it's available on Amazon. And the second thing, of course, we all know in real estate, is this book with my friend Robert Allen. It's called Achieve. And in here, I talk about how did I raise money to buy real estate? How do you, if you don't have money right now, how did I do it? And it's even more important today because of what we're going through. So, for example, if you're in Ottawa area and you're looking to talk to somebody who's an expert in real estate, well, you got to get hold of Dan and sit there and figure out if there's a way that you can do business together, joint ventures together, or you're buying your own properties and then you want Dan's team to help you out with the management and all that kind of stuff. If you want to raise money, you can start off, you have lots of time right now, start off reading books. I mean, reading books, it changed my life completely when I, from the time 15 years ago when I left the police force. And these books have had a huge impact on many, many people. And I know, Dan, that you're writing a book with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank that's going to come very shortly as well. So I'm looking forward to that with you, me, and Kevin. That would be awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So real estate, you buy for mainly cash flow, which is amazing. How do you know it's a good deal? How do you know it's a good deal when you look at property? Show me.
Define a good deal, right? So it depends. It depends where you're coming from, right?
What is good deal for you?
Yeah, a good deal for me is, we get into some very detailed stuff, but, we were looking for cap rates of, north of 6%. But with true valuations, right? With not inflated valuations. And we really want to make sure that the numbers we're being given make sense, because sometimes you can buy a property with certain numbers, but we like to go and confirm that the numbers are being provided are accurate or repeatable, right?
And how do you do that? How do you verify those numbers when you're looking for properties in the beginning?
Experience. Talk to people. Do your research. My gosh. Absolutely. And that's why I say, and if you're not sure, start small, because, you'd rather, learn on a small deal than on a larger deal. Ask questions, talk to people, call around, we'll do one-on-one consultations if you have any questions to try to make sure that what you're looking for. And a lot of times when people are looking to buy property, as an added service, we offer them when they're dealing with realtors or properties, we say, listen, if you want an unbiased opinion as to what we think we would attract in terms of rent, we'll do that for you free of charge, right? Because we want to make sure when you buy it that you're using the numbers that are repeatable, because there's nothing worse than buying a piece of property with numbers that aren't accurate or repeatable in the current market. And sometimes we see that where people buy property with an expectation of a significantly higher income, and then they realize once they bought it that's not reasonable, right? So we want to be cautious when we do that. So
yeah, awesome. Well, some of the things that people can look for when they're doing their numbers, for example, make sure that you're taking into a vacancy allowance. Would you say that's a good idea?
Absolutely.
And then also put aside when you're doing your numbers, your pro forma, for maintenance as well. I mean, there's going to be some maintenance coming up if you buy a property.
Yep.
And then if you are getting a management company, make sure that you are putting the fee that's going to cost you, or the fee that you're investing into, let's say somebody like Dan's company, put that into pro forma as well, in addition to the mortgage, insurance, as well as heat, hydro, and all that. If you're all that kind of stuff. So that might be a great thing. And then if you're doing your due diligence, there are things that, from a starting point of view, where you can verify whether the heat and hydro and all these things easily verifiable from the government, or get the person who's selling it to show you that, okay, if you say it's $50 normally, then let's just see what was it last year. If you say the insurance is $25, well, figure out whether that was a bare bone insurance, whether it was a real insurance. If you say that the maintenance was this much, well, let's figure out what happened last 3 years with the maintenance and all that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, verification of those numbers are very, very, very important, would you say?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And utilities is a notorious one as well, right? So it's especially if there are some inclusions there in the leases, that's you gotta know what you're doing with that type of stuff. So
awesome. Yeah. And so when you're going in, how do you find a deal or properties? So you're looking for properties that produce cash flow, and you're looking for properties that have six or up cap rate, true cap rate. How do you actually find properties?
Well, sometimes they get on the market and we seem like everybody else, but being in the business, we are regularly contacted to be offered properties before they even hit the market. So because they know, if they come to us, that we have the experience, we know what we're doing, and we won't waste anybody's time learning, how to do this, right? So that's, we're fortunate enough, having done this over the years, that if somebody has, the last deal I did was somebody that just came right up to us, saying, listen, this is what I'm thinking of doing, do the numbers. Took several months to hash out the details. But it made more sense to everybody. And for us, we're paying fair market value, but at the end of the day, didn't have to go through the whole process of them listing it and then the negotiation. So they come in and we're serious buyers, right? So if it makes sense, people have come up to us with their offerings before even going anywhere else.
So when you're looking at the offer itself, are there a couple of conditions that you put in the offer? And if so, what duration do you put in the offer itself? For example, if you put in conditional upon financing or conditional upon due diligence, tell me a few things that you guys put in to protect yourself.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the deal, right? And it depends, if we have something where we know there's going to be a lot of activity on, we try to be a bit more aggressive. And it's a tough question to answer because it depends on the deal. You could look at two different deals and we do it very differently from one to the next. But there's a deal we're working on now. We're on the third extension, right? Because
Wow.
we're not able to get the information that we require, and the seller knows, right? So but some deals we come in and there's no conditions, right? Because sometimes, I've come in with deals, cash, 30 days, we make it happen. So it depends on the situation, right? Depends on the building, it depends on the price, it depends on the offering. So I wouldn't say there's a specific way of doing it that's across the board. So
Um, for you, how many properties, how many doors do you have right now?
that we do what? That
How
we
many
manage?
doors that you own?
No, I won't say that on the Zoom call.
Okay. How many properties have you managed?
Yeah, we're managing several hundred properties, and we'll
All
be
right.
hitting 1,000 in the next year or so. Yeah.
Thousand. And
Yeah.
what makes Dan Doré a good property management company? What would you say?
You can always count on us to be straight shooters, right? So
Right.
we want, like I said, I've spoken to people in the past where they're exploring buying property. And after speaking with me, they decide to not buy the property because, the details that were given or understand. So weren't in their best interest. So with me, with us, you'll get straight shooter, right? So we're not trying to involve you in something you don't want to, or if it doesn't make sense. And if you're not comfortable, then don't do it, right? It's not for everybody, right? So with us, that's what you get. And we run an ethical business. Internally, it's always about trying to do the right thing. And the right thing sometimes is just a gut, right? What's right for that specific time. So if you deal with us, that's what you get. So
Awesome. Sounds good. How do people get hold of you, Dan?
yeah, they can reach out either through the website,
Yeah.
DORERentals.com. So Dore is spelled DORE, rentals with an S.com, or my email, dan@dorerentals.com.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, then I'll gladly answer any questions you may have.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are especially in the Ottawa area and you're looking to invest in real estate, you're looking to have a professional company manage your properties that you already have, or the properties that you're going to be buying in the near future, get in touch with Dan. He's an amazing guy. Dan, is there a phone number that you want to give out?
Yeah, you can call. We have the office number. It's 613-227 all zeros. So 227-0000.
Awesome. You guys need to get hold of Dan. And those of you that I showed you about the real estate books, if you're starting out, this is about how to see where should you buy in Canada or United States. And if you're trying to do your due diligence and predict where the market is when the market is down, and what do? I talk about this in this book, as well as how do you raise money, which is very important. And that's in this book called Achieve with Robert Allen and myself. And these are all available on Amazon, as well as Secret to Wealth. This is a book that came out last year, became a bestseller. And in here, I talk about 7 ways for you to build wealth. So it's called Secret to Wealth, and all of these ones are available on Amazon. And as you know, talked about that Dan and I and Kevin Harrington and some of the other experts are coming up with a new book as well, and we'll keep you posted on that. Before we finish off, there's a audiobook that I want to give away. And this book is alignment with what Private Investment Club is all about. Private Investment Club is the largest elite real estate club in North America, and our goal is to make 100 millionaires. And my good friend Brian Tracy also has the same goal of helping 100 families become millionaires or multimillionaires. And so I have an audiobook for you. It's called Make a Million. So all you have to do is go to makeamillion.net, makeamillion.net. And you get to keep that audiobook, absolutely no cost. During these times, you have lots of time. You can listen to it. If your goal is to become wealthy, financially free, and make $1 million within the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, listen to that audiobook. It's wealth of knowledge. Dan, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you very shortly when this all is gone.
Yeah, and I've read all those books that you're suggesting, and I highly recommend them. So.
Thank you, Dad. I appreciate that. And you're an amazing guy. I spent lots of, you saw me at the Tony Robbins event, and then you came to the Jack Canfield event, and where I was speaking with Jack and producing that event. And now you are part of our inner circle, in our family, part of the PIC family, as well as my mentoring program. And I'm really happy and glad and honored to have you part of the PIC family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil. Sunil, I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Take good care, my friend.
Yes, you too. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.